Hey, what's up everyone? How's everyone feeling today? This is Mark Perry back at you with another video. In today's video, I want to talk about property manager versus self-managed and why it's important to understand that when you're getting involved into real estate investing. So without further ado, let's dive right in. So what's the difference between property manager and self-managed? Well, property manager is a third-party company that actually will manage your properties for you at a rate of a percentage. So if you have multiple properties or if you have just a couple properties, depends on how many properties you got, that rate could go up or that rate could go down. Typically, you might see 10%, or if you have multiple properties, let's say if you had 20 single family homes, you might be able to get that rate down. And if it's just that one property management company, you might be able to get that rate down around 8%, maybe even 7%. It just depends on the property management company. But a property management company is a third-party company that will manage the properties for you while you tend on your day-to-day activities. So what does property managers do? We're going to jump in this one first. What does property managers do? Well, property managers take all the calls from the tenants. So you don't have to worry about taking the calls from the tenants. You don't have to worry about the tenants always calling you all the time about the property, what needs to be done, and so forth. The property manager handles that. So all the calls go through the property manager, which is great. The second one is they handle maintenance. Meaning now you still will have to come out of the pocket to pay for the maintenance, but they probably have someone on their team that can take care of the maintenance at the property. So you don't have to physically go there yourself and do the maintenance on the property. So they'll have somebody on their group or in their team that will go handle the maintenance when the maintenance needs to be done. If it's a door or if it's it's a cabinet that doesn't shut correctly, or if it's the toilet or whatever the case may be, they got a maintenance guy that can go over there and take care of the maintenance. You would just have to come out the pocket to pay that. And we'll get more on that here in a minute. They usually charge 10%. Now that's the going rate for most property managers around the US. Typically, a lot of times if you're buying one property, two properties, or even 5 or 10, a lot of times they're gonna be charging about 10% on the gross revenue. So they'll be charging 10% on the gross revenue. Now, that can go up and down, just depends. So if you get a lot of properties, if you own commercial multifamily apartments, and let's say if you own 100 units, then that rate can go down to 4%. It can go down to 5%. So the bigger, the better, because your rate will go down. But if you have just small single family homes, typically it's normally 10%. The fourth one is screening tenants. They'll screen all the tenants. So they'll do a background check. They'll make sure the tenants are qualified. They'll check out their job history. They'll make sure that they haven't been any legal activities or if they're on probation or anything like that, to make sure that the tenant can pay for the rents, and they'll check their debt coverage ratio. So a lot of that plays a factor on the back end when you're screening tenants. They'll make sure they have a 2-year job history and so forth. So they'll do all that work for you. The last one is they'll collect the rents. So they'll go to each property that you have. They'll go collect each rent every single month on the 1st, or it can be the 1st or the 5th. But a lot of times if it's the 5th, that's usually when it's the time past due or a little bit past due. So a lot of times it's just the 1st of every month, which everybody knows. It's the 1st, they'll collect rents. They'll get the rents collected, and then they'll be able to do the distributing after that. So it just depends on how many properties you have, and you can always work that with your property manager. So these are the type of typical things that property managers do. There is a few more, but I just want to get into the broad of them, for you to understand of how property managers work. Now, this one is a great way because, you have to realize like, okay, do I have time to manage my properties? Okay, if I'm gonna be an investor, I want someone else to manage it to where I can pay them and then I can have the freedom and time to do what I have to do. So that's great about with the property management. So let's move over here to self-manage. Self-manage is basically you're managing yourself. You want to buy properties. You want to learn how the management strategy works. You want to go out there. You want to get your hands dirty. You want to do the maintenance. You want to do so forth. So let's go on some of these. So the first one you have is you managing the property yourself, meaning that you'll go there. You'll take a look at the property. You'll have your eyes on the property. You'll make sure the tenants are in good condition. You want to make sure that there's no trash or anything in the front yard, to making sure that the property is in good shape. Also as well, another one is you take care of all the issues. So all the issues that pop up with the property, you take care of it. Now, it comes back to this one. you will still have to take care of the issues regardless, because you own the property. So you still have to take care of the issues, but you physically don't have to go and work it yourself. Like, I'm meaning, okay, you coming out the pocket paying for it, but you also got to go physically do the job yourself. That's when I say you have to take care of all the issues, because if you don't have a property manager, you got to take care of the issues. Now, you can hire a maintenance guy. But if you're going to manage the property yourself and you want to cut costs and you want to be like, okay, well, let me go take care of the, because I'm handy, let me go take care of it myself. That means you are doing the issues and doing the maintenance yourself. So you're not really hiring a maintenance guy. You're really just doing it all yourself. The third one is screening tenants. You got to make sure that the tenants that you screen are great tenants. You want to make sure that they have a job for about 2 years. You want to make sure that their debt coverage ratio is good for whether they can afford the payments on the rents. You want to make sure that you have to have a good track record of renting properties. So these are all the things that you will have to do to get a good tenant in, is screening the tenants. The fourth one is you have to take all the calls. So when the calls pop up at nighttime, let's say 10, 11 o'clock at night, a tenant's calling you, they need something done or something's going wrong with the property, you will have to get up and go take care of that. You will have to get the calls every night. So that's not offsetting to your property manager. So you will have to do that. The other one is you collect rents. So you have to drive to each property. If you have multiple properties, you have to drive to each property and collect rents on each property. So it's not bad. Neither one of these are bad. The best way, from my opinion, is the property manager. But you just have to figure out what suits you. You have to figure out, okay, do you want to be handy? If you want to be handy and you don't want to pay 10%, then you want to self-manage it yourself. That's what you want to do. Now, if you're not handy and you still want to be saving 10%, the only person you will probably have to pay is the maintenance guy. So you can still manage the properties and screen the tenants and do all that. But let's just say if something pops up, then you can hire a maintenance guy. The maintenance guy can come in and then they can take care of the work that needs to be done. So really the best way, from my opinion, like I said, is property management. But you have to really figure out what suits your lifestyle and kind of what are you looking to accomplish. That's the key. Because when you get into real estate, you got to really know, like, what is my goals? What am I looking to accomplish? Do I want passive income or do I want to be active in real estate? And being active is self-management. That's really kind of being active. Being passive is more like, okay, I got the money, or I can get private money and I can buy single family homes, or I can buy small apartments, and I can get a third party property manager that can manage the properties. They can do all the work, all what we said right here. They can do all this work, and then I can kind of not necessarily set back, because you still got to do stuff like fall-wise. You got to pay invoices. You got to, pay them. You got to, when maintenance pops up, you got to make sure you put some money back for maintenance, but you're not physically doing any work. You still can kind of spend the time how you want to spend it. You can go enjoy life with your family. If you have kids, you can enjoy life with your kids, and then your properties will be managed correctly. But the key with this right here is you want to make sure that you get a great property management company. You want to be able to screen them. You want to make sure that they're great, because there's a lot of property managers that might not do the best job that suits you. So you want to make sure that you get on places like Yelp, and you want to get on places on Google and stuff like that, to where you can see what their track record is. You want to see if they have any views, any great views and so forth. You want to see if you can get any recommendations or any referrals from them once you speak to them. You want to make sure you have a great property manager, because keep in mind, if you don't have a great property manager, that property manager can make or break your deal. They can make or break your property. They can put that wrong tenant in there, and that tenant can mess a lot of things up with your property, or the tenant can bring the property value down by putting trash or anything outside, or just having a lot of people hanging out. You want to make sure that you got a great property manager that can get quality tenants in there, to where they're able to pay this rent each and every month consistently, to where you can kind of set back and you can find more properties. Because the goal is, if you're going to do real estate, you buy one property, then you buy 3, then you buy 5 and 7 and keep going. But the only way to do that is that you have to put your time away from there, get a great property manager, and then you continue to go find more and more properties, and you keep building. And when you keep building, you can have that percentage of that 10% go down to like 8 to 7%. But you got to keep building, you got to keep going. So I hope this video helps, but just to recap it, property manager, they take all the calls, they handle all the maintenance. They usually charge about 10%. They screen all the tenants, they collect all the rents. That's normally what property managers do. So they do all the work. You just got to make sure that you put your percentage back, which will be vacancy and maintenance is roughly around 10%. Put that back for anything that pops up. You can have a separate account for that. Self-manage, you're managing it yourself, you're doing all the legwork, you're screening tenants, you're taking care of all the maintenance, you're doing all the work. So like I said, there's no right or wrong with each one. You just got to know for your lifestyle where you need to be at on this property. So I hope that this video helps. And also as well, if you haven't already, feel free to like and subscribe to my YouTube channel if you can relate to these videos. I'm going to be putting more content and videos out there and talking more about real estate, talking more about personal development to where that you can change your life to get involved in real estate or change your life to be better as a person. So I hope this video helps and I look forward to seeing you guys soon and I'll talk to you on the other side. Thank you.